I grew up in a Tongan household where, you like you can't wear this, you can't do this around the boys, you fold your legs, wear long pants, this and that, So
Hmm.
I was always taught that the girls are the ones that provoke the men, I guess in a
Hmm.
way, like
Yeah.
growing up in that household.
Hmm.
And my aunt, my dad's second oldest sister, she's the only one that had a husband because my dad's other older sister was a widow. But they didn't really show affection either. And the boys within my household didn't really have relationships with like any girls at that time being either.
Yeah.
So I really didn't see any type of, love. And then with my parents, like whenever I had seen my parents, I didn't really see that love either. Like, and so when I had gotten into this, like, because this was probably my longest relationship
Hmm.
that I've had.
Hmm.
And like when I had gotten into this relationship, I was like, it made me like so happy because like I didn't know
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously I didn't know what love was, like that type of romance. I didn't know
Yeah.
romantic type love.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I don't know, like how is this supposed to be, or like, you
Hmm.
know. So going into that relationship, like we had um what's called like the puppy, the puppy love stage.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so like we had the best puppy love stage, and I just assumed that that's how it would have
It's going.
stayed.
Yeah. It's going to be forever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I thought it would have been, because like it was going so good, like everything was going so good, like he was being a gentleman, and I didn't even know how a gentleman was technically supposed to act. Like he opened the doors and stuff, he paid for a lot of things, and I just thought, oh, maybe that's how it's supposed to be. And yeah, the puppy love stage ended, I think, around like, oh, actually, let me begin with this. So technically, before I had gotten into that relationship, I was preparing for a mission. I was
Okay.
trying to go on my mission.
Yeah.
But like I was preparing, I had gotten my patriarchal blessing, I had got my, my teeth, my physical, and I was literally ready to leave. But things took a turn when so I had gotten pregnant. And yeah, so I had gotten pregnant and I didn't realize that. And I didn't even know I was pregnant. And so here I am still preparing for a mission while being pregnant and then also playing rugby. So
Okay.
yeah, so all that happened in such a short amount of time. And then I had found out I was pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage. So it, like, and I feel like I left that out in kind of my depression story, but that
Hmm.
kind of helped, but like that kind of led to a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all that stuff had happened. And just after, maybe like a couple months after the miscarriage, like I guess he had some doubts, like he thought that I had cheated on him, or like the baby wasn't his, because it was
Yeah.
just, it happened all so fast.
Yeah.
And so things just started going left, like really bad. Things took like for the worst. And I just like we would always be yelling at each other. He'd always be calling me names. I would say hurtful and mean things to him too. And I wasn't sure, like it seemed normal to me because that's how I had seen my parents when they, had arguments and stuff. And I was just like, okay, maybe this is normal. Like this is how a relationship works. Like we fight back and forth. And
Yeah.
so I just remember he would say hurtful things, I would say hurtful things. And we would just go on and on about like things that had happened, or throwing like past like mistakes at each other throughout like the 4 years that we were together. That's all we did, throw, just throw our past mistakes at each other, get here and there. And I just remember um like one night we were drinking,
Mm.
we were drinking, hanging out with friends, family, just good company, having a good night. And I just like remember like I wanted to settle. Like I was telling him like we should get married, like I want another kid, type thing.
Mm. Mm.
And like I wanted my whole life with this kid. And I
Mm.
was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is it. Like, and I mind you, I'm like gonna, so I'm like I have like I'm literally trying, I'm just going off of what's like, what's
Yeah.
coming out of my brain because I'm going
Yeah.
on and I'm not sure what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like going on, I'm like telling him like we should settle, like we should have another baby. And I just remember like trying so hard to tell him like I want to be pregnant, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I don't think he took it very lightly. And obviously he was going on too. And that was the first time I had gotten hit. Like I've actually physically got hit by somebody other than my older boy cousins that like literally hit me. And I was like, I don't remember anything after that. Like I just remember trying to scramble for my keys, try and get out of there. And then I had woke up the next morning and I had seen like my nose was all jacked up. I had a busted lip and like my whole face was swollen and I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
and I'm sure, many others didn't know, And usually my first like cuz I've seen it in movies, like
Yeah.
I try to base my life off of like movies that I've seen cuz
Mhm.
obviously I've never seen it with family, but I was like thinking, I was like, maybe I should leave. Like, this man is like really bad, and it's never gotten that bad to where it had to like hit my face. And I remember thinking about it. And what made it 10 times worse was that I had to be around family during that incident. And
Mhm.
so I just remember getting questioned, like, what happened to your face? Like, what's going on? And I didn't realize, like, to think that I'd have to lie to my family, and tell them, like, oh yeah, I fell on my face, like like I slipped and fell because I was going on, I was running and it was icy outside, and you know and I just feel like because the very beginning, and I'm not sure, in every other people's situations, but I feel like it started because of that whole incident, my miscarriage, the doubting of, you know of if it was his or if it was somebody else's or if I was out here cheating and stuff. And it just led from one thing to another because then he would cheat and I would do this, and
Yeah.
then I try and do it to him, like I try and do it back.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make me feel any better, and I'm sure it didn't make him feel any better. But like it just became so reversal where if one person did something, the other person would have to do it.
Yeah.
And I guess I stayed in that relationship because that's probably the only love I felt. Like, I just had that void from family, parents, cousins, my parents, and I found, or at least I thought I had found,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Something
void.
different.
Yeah, that void in my heart. I thought I had found it with him, and so that's why I stayed in it so long, and especially because our history was just so clear
Yeah.
cut, and we had been through so much during that time, and I just assumed like this is it, like this is all that's here for me, like, and I
You feel
don't
like
want.
you feel like that this is like the best relationship you could ever have.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
though as toxic as it was
Yeah.
for both of us, yeah, I felt like this is it, like this is
Yeah.
what I want. But I
Yeah.
didn't want it like that, like, in a
Yeah.
sense, like I didn't want the abusiveness or us going back and forth. But
But it's like take it or leave it. It's
yeah,
that type of, yeah.
yeah, technically, yeah,
Yeah.
it, that's what it was. I was like, hey, this
Yeah.
is it, like
Yeah.
this is it right
Just,
here.
yeah.
And so all that stuff had happened, and I just remember us like we had passed it, and we were trying to build our relationship, but for some reason I just felt like it wasn't going anywhere, and I'm sure he felt the same, and I just was like, this isn't, like, especially with everything that had happened, I was just like, yeah, our history is great and we have such a long history together, but this just isn't us, like. And I know he wasn't happy because I wasn't happy, and oftentimes I'd find, and I feel like Polynesian women, and I feel like the men too, find reasons. They find the littlest reasons to stay. And that's what I did in that relationship. I found every little inch, every little bit, even if it was like a small portion of it, I'd find a reason to stay. And every time that I was given signals to leave, I just kept telling myself, like, no, like, I've never had love like this. Like, this is the only love that's ever like came through for me. Like, I'm gonna stay. And then that's, and I feel bad that that's what we're used to seeing while growing up is like our, the abusiveness, the toxic criticism, and just, so it was really tough those 4 years. And like I have nothing against him now. Like I show nothing
Yeah.
but love, and I wish him the best. and in the future, I hope he's doing well, but it was just like that time frame. I just felt bad because it seemed like I feel like he only stayed because I was trying to stay, like things
Yeah.
felt forceful, and it just didn't feel like a relationship. Like there were moments in time where we would feel the connection, and then there's
Yeah.
other times where we were just like, oh, it's not there, we're just
Yeah.
here just to be here,
Yeah.
so a lot of the times I think about the Polynesian women, because even in Samoa I witnessed a couple relationships that went really bad, and
Yeah.
I remember one of the girls, she was telling me, and I was like, why don't you just leave? And she's like, I can't
Yeah.
do that, and
Yeah.
obviously she's right, because I was sitting there thinking, wow, oh, she's right, because I didn't leave,
Yeah.
thinking on my own terms. I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. And I feel like a lot of the times, because the culture, like not the culture, but like because what our parents were taught back in the islands, they were taught that, like, or at least from where my mom's perspective, like her and my dad, like divorce or separation from
Yeah.
is bad. So I was sitting here thinking, because of our history, like if I had left him, it would have looked bad on me, like kind of thing. And when people go there and they gossip and stuff, then it everything comes right back, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. And on top of that, I just didn't want to have to go through a whole nother relationship, especially after being with this man for like 4 years. I was like, I don't want to have to go through another phase of trying to get to rebuild
Yeah.
something that I had already took so long to build, in a way, you know so I just, yeah, and I know a lot of Polynesian girls go through it, and especially in the islands, like that's what they're taught. Like, well, now at least they're working on it, like men being abusive or women being abusive. Like they're trying to get people to just kind of learn that it's not okay. And I feel like once you get the first signal of toxic, I feel like people should recognize and just kind of immediately either like settle or figure some kind of way to get out of it, because I
Yeah.
feel like if me and him would have both like recognized it the first time, like I think we would have like figured ourselves out earlier in the time being, and us we finding that like that safe space due to like our childhoods and everything that we've come across, if that makes sense.